What is up, my friends? It is Sunday night. It is the late night agenda. And to say that we have a packed show, that would be an understatement. There is a lot to get through. And of course, I understand you're looking at this title going, Mbappe, lad, really? This isn't me. I'm not the one that comes up with these things. I just report the stories that are being reported in the media and we get stuck into it. Do I think we're going to sign Kylian Mbappe? No, of course I don't think we're going to sign Kylian Mbappe. But it is a story and we speak about it. For those saying that I'm a minute late, I mean, you should count yourselves lucky. A minute late for me is really like early. You know, sometimes I'm 10, 15 minutes late, but we're good. I'm here. And as always, if I'm a minute late, I don't know, fill yourself in, tell a joke. I do apologise. I get here when I can get here. So I hope we're all well. Loads for us to get through. It was weird having a day off yesterday. I missed you guys. Always like to come on and catch up with you. So where do we want to start tonight? Where do we want to go? Do we want to talk about the Mbappe nonsense or do we want to get straight into some realism and some possible signings? Because apparently PALHINHA could be doable, which I don't know about you guys, but I'd be more than happy to bring in PALHINHA. Lavia, again, we'll talk about Lavia tonight. We'll have a look at Oxlade-Chamberlain and where he could be going. We'll talk about Kylian Mbappe, of course. And look, let's get straight into the Mbappe stuff so we can put it straight to bed. And then we don't have to go back over. Oh, jeez, I'm knocking over things on my desk. Right, let's go off with it. So, AS, who are a Spanish outlet, they say that Liverpool are preparing a monumental bid for PSG superstar Kylian Mbappe. Yeah, of course we are. But let's go into it. It's been reported this week that PSG will listen to offers for Mbappe and his refusal to sign a new contract. It suggests that Liverpool are putting together a major package to sign the forward, who's set to earn around £650,000 a week. Chelsea and Al Hilal are also interested. Now, look, we know we're not signing him, but weirdly, how is it that Chelsea are still in the conversation? Like, is there no FFP regulations anymore? If Todd Bowley and Chelsea can now come in and think that they're going to drop 650 Gs a week. So look, we ain't signing Fabinho. Of course we're not signing Fabinho. Or not Fabinho, I'm reading about his dogs. Oh, I'm having a mare, lads. I'm having a mare. Well, not signing Fabinho though, so I guess that was a correct statement. I was reading about the dogs in the chat and I was distracted. Yeah, so look, we're not signing Kylian Mbappe, my friends. We know we're not signing Kylian Mbappe. But there are some possibilities for us getting business done. Now, look, the one question on all of our lips right now is, when are we going to see activity, right? We're all waiting to see some activity. But the truth is, and I say it's the truth, this is my opinion, excuse me. My opinion is that Liverpool are holding off till they get the guaranteed money. Yes, the Fabinho and Henderson deals are dragging on a little bit longer than we would like. But I think that they just want to be safe. And I can understand it. I think as soon as we get the actual, here we go, the signings of Jordan Henderson, the signing of Fabinho to Saudi Arabia, you'll see Liverpool go quickly in the market. Now, I guess there's a couple of worries that we have on the PALHINHA front, and I'll move on to talk about PALHINHA in more detail in a little bit. On the PALHINHA front, obviously, we have to keep an eye on what's happening with West Ham. So we've got to make sure that if he is a target, we don't lose out on him to West Ham, so we can't delay too much. Lavia, I don't know if Arsenal's interest in Lavia has waned a little bit because Thomas Partey looks like he's going to stay, according to Mikel Arteta in an interview anyway. So I really don't know. Now, on the Fabinho stuff, the Fabinho stuff is mental, right? You've all seen what I've seen today, that possibly the deal to take Fabinho to Saudi Arabia could be in a little bit of jeopardy because of his two French bulldogs. Now, people have been very kind and put in the rules and regulations about pets and dogs that can come into Saudi Arabia. And look, every country is, of course, fully okay to make up their own rules about what breeds they do and don't want in their country. That's perfectly understandable. Nothing unusual about that. But it's very vague, right? It just says bull terriers, bulldogs, and it goes on to list loads of other breeds. But it doesn't specifically mention French bulldogs, yay or nay. And if any of us know anything about Fabinho and his good lady wife Rebecca, they love their two Frenchies. They've had two French bulldogs for as long as I remember them being at the club anyway. So you would imagine that they're going to try to get that sorted. Now, I don't know if there's a whole lot of truth to that issue or not. But what I would say is, I wouldn't worry about it from a Liverpool perspective. If Fabinho, for whatever reason, doesn't get the move to Saudi Arabia, it looks like he go to Bayern Munich. Because we've been seeing this week that Sky Germany have reported that Thomas Tuchel is on standby if the deal breaks down for Fabinho to go to Saudi Arabia. Then Thomas Tuchel would be more than happy to bring him to Germany. And weirdly, one thing I don't know is if the deal fell through to Saudi, I don't know if there's a way back at Liverpool for Fabinho. I truly don't. That's where I'm at with it. That's the honest truth. I don't know, but I wouldn't expect him to still be here. And I can't tell you whether they'll find an issue to the dog stuff or not. I truly don't know. As I said, it's not my country. I don't know the rules and regulations. Bulldogs off to the vet for that Saudi dollar. No, mate. No. Look, they love their French bulldogs. You know, they're everywhere with them. You can Google pictures of them. There's loads of them. They really do adore their two little Frenchies. So look, you know, I'm a dog owner. I've actually got a French bulldog, so I understand how difficult it would be. And I don't know if I could part with my French bulldog. I don't know if I could part with either of my dogs. In fact, I think I probably couldn't, to be honest. But you know, this is part of the move. So, right, loads to get through. Let me say a couple of things. One, thank you guys so much for coming in again tonight. I hope you're well. I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. We are inching in towards the live show, and somebody in the chat said, is it going to be shown on YouTube? No, mate, it's not. It's going to be just for the people that are there that night. Yeah. So on that one, just for the people who were there that night, unfortunately, but also fortunately, because it's going to be an intimate thing. Loads more to get through, but don't forget, do hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel and drop a like on the video. The subscribe button, we're closing in on 182k. Be lovely to hit it tonight with you guys, but if not, I'm sure we'll get there soon. So, Szoboszlai, lots of people concerned about Dominic Szoboszlai's injury. And I understand why. I absolutely understand why. Because as Liverpool fans, we've become accustomed to hearing the phrase slight knock, only for a slight knock to turn into Thiago being out for 6 weeks or somebody else being out for a couple of months. So I get it. I understand it. But it really does feel like he just turned his ankle and it's a bit of swelling. You know, I wouldn't be expecting to see serious injury news with him. Now, he won't be in the squad tomorrow. He's not going to take any more part in the German camp. But after that, look, when they go over to Singapore, I'd imagine he travels. But I wouldn't get too stressed about it yet. You know, we don't know the extent of it, but it does look like he just rolled his ankle. That's what I've read. I don't know anything more than you guys know, but don't get stressed about it just yet. We've got plenty of time as well. What are we now? 3 weeks from today until Liverpool are back in action in the Premier League against Chelsea. I don't know if you guys watched Chelsea last night. The Premier League, I don't know what they call it, the competition in America where there's a preseason tournament. I watched the game against Brighton, and look, you can't read too much into preseason games, but nothing scared me in that Chelsea team, other than the prospect, if I was a Chelsea fan, of maybe having to buy that kit, which is god-awful in my opinion. But yeah, so look, we've loads to get through tonight, and as always, I will take it at the pace you guys want. So let me know what topics you want to cover, in what order, and we'll get there. Shall we move on to speak about PALHINHA a little bit? Because I can't lie to you, I really would like the idea of PALHINHA coming into Liverpool. Now, I had a bit of a disagreement with somebody in our Discord group earlier on the whole situation, because my opinion is, I can't see a world where Liverpool bring in two defensive midfielders in this window. People might think, let's say, you bring in Lavia, he's 19 years of age, you bring in PALHINHA. But for the sheer expense that both those two transfers would cost, and I'm imagining you're talking 80, 85 million in total if you were to bring in the two of them. And I can't see Liverpool doing that. I'm not saying it wouldn't be a potentially good idea. I'm not saying it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't help. Of course it would. But there's nothing about our owners that make me suggest they're going to blow 85 million on two holding midfield players. So on the PALHINHA thing, actually, one sec. Oh, you did get it sorted, Lance. I'm so happy. Lance was having an absolute nightmare trying to comment. We couldn't figure out why. He wasn't banned, but his comments weren't shown up. So I'm glad we sorted that, Lance. Thank you for becoming a member as well of Anfield Agenda Ultras. Thank you for sticking with me, mate, and showing the patience while I tried to get it sorted. But I did promise you I was working on it. And it looks like our YouTube expert behind the scenes was able to sort that for you. So delighted to have you in, Lance. You've been a long member of our community. Right. So there is an article today and a piece that comes from Sasha Tavalieri, who I believe is a Belgian journalist, if I'm not mistaken. And it says Liverpool are the most keen on signing Fulham midfielder João PALHINHA, according to journalist Sasha Tavolieri. PALHINHA impressed under Marco Silva last term. Liverpool are braced to lose Jordan Henderson and Fabinho this summer. Tavolieri believes he's valued at about 50 million by Fulham, who reportedly rejected a £45 million offer from West Ham. Now, if we take this at face value for a second, 50 million sounds a lot cheaper than I was expecting. If 50 million is the valuation that Fulham have put on PALHINHA, I wouldn't be against it at all. He has an engine that would go forever. And yes, I know he's 28 years of age, but if you wanted somebody for the here and now to play that role, I think he's the guy. If you want somebody and you're willing to be a bit more patient and look to the future, Lavi is the guy. But I can't see a world we get both. Now, I remember when the PALHINHA stuff first came up, it was after West Ham made it clear that they're preparing to lose Declan Rice. And the number then was 70 that I'd seen. So to get it to 50 now, if that's the number, and we're interested, I really do hope that hope we push through with it, because he's a fine footballer and I've watched him quite a bit. So usually I'll say to you guys, haven't watched a whole lot of him, but I have, because I read a really interesting article on him a while back and I followed his season. He's really good. He's really, really good. So I don't know if Sashi Tavolieri's information is correct or not. I personally don't know anything on it, but I'd be happy if it was true. I'd be more than happy if it was true. And 50 million sounds a reasonable offer. That's the money you're going to bring in for Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. On top of the wages, of course, we'd save, which I think is probably about 18 million a year, I think, between Jordan Henderson and Fabinho's wages. So, again, there is money there in the pot. Nick, thank you, buddy, for the first super chat of the night. Said, will Mbappe force Madrid to sell? Well, there's a reason Mbappe's in the title tonight. It's a little bit because I want the usual replies of, oh, he's lost it, this lad's away with it, because I do get a good chuckle and laugh at them. But also because it leads us into a more realistic conversation, right? If Kylian Mbappe is going to be sold this summer and his destination is Real Madrid, which is most likely, I think there's a possibility that they could sell Valverde. Now, I don't know if it's too late for us to look at Valverde. I don't know if he's the type of midfielder that Klopp would want to bring in, because we know he can play midfield, he can play right side of attack, but we need a DM at the minute. So I don't know if there's truth to that, but I'd be interested to know what you guys think. I really, really would, because I can say one thing for certain. Jurgen Klopp has been a long admirer of Federico Valverde. And I've loved watching the dude as well. I like that steely Uruguayan mentality. I like we have it with Darwin, and I'd love us to have a look at Valverde. But truth is, I don't know. But what do you guys think? Let's Talk Football said, for PALHINHA, all we need is somebody whose main quality is taking the ball off people and giving it to players better on the ball. Trent McAllister, Szoboszlai. There's nobody better at it than him. I very much agree. For the here and now, mate, no argument for me. No notes, spot on. And that's exactly it. Get the ball, give it to somebody. Get the ball, give it to somebody. And it sounds easy, right? Win the ball, give it to somebody. Win the ball, give it to somebody. But it isn't. And that's why specialist DMs like Fabinho or PALHINHA are sought after. Hey, Brian figured it out. LFC USA figured out how to become a member. We love it. He's a bit of a boomer like myself, is old Brian. Lovely to see that you figured it out, my man. And I cannot wait to come and say hi to you in person at the live show. And of course, we're out for dinner the next night as well. So very much looking forward to that one. Do we have the time to wait? Said Lance. It's a good question. It's a good question, Lance, because there's two ways to look at this. We can look at this to say there's 6 weeks left in the transfer window. Or we can look at this and say there's 3 weeks left till Liverpool are underway. So both answers are valid answers, right? At the moment, I struggle to envision any DM that signed, let's say this week, that they're going to be ready for the start of the season. And even if it is a PALHINHA, I struggle to believe they'll start. So, is Thiago going to be fit enough to start? Really don't know at this point. Stefan Bajcetic is back training, which is great to see. But he still has a long way to go to get back up to match fitness. He hasn't taken part in any of the games or anything yet. He's only just back on the training pitch. So there's a load of uncertainty right now. But no way, Craig, you're a boomer. You look too young. I'm 41, Yusuf, turning 42 this year. But I think I'm getting to boomer category now, unfortunately. Jeff, how are you, dude? Love you too, man. Thank you for the comments. Look, one real simple thing that you will find out about our community, about our chat, about our YouTube channel, about our Discord, about anything that we're part of. You can come in and have a laugh. You can come in and share your thoughts and we won't judge you. But you can't come in and shithouse. You can't come in and be abusive to me. You can't come in and be abusive to anybody in the chat. Anybody that acts that way, we don't want part of our community and we'll ban them. It's that simple. We want you guys to come in, have fun, enjoy yourselves and feel like it's a place where you can be safe, a place where you can give your thoughts and you won't be judged. That's the goal here. Earthworm Jim. Oh, that name again, dude. Every time I read your name, it's Earthworm Jim. From soil he did crawl. Earthworm Jim. Am I too old? Does anybody else remember that cartoon? Where's Craig's hair? Probably with me balls in my wife's handbag, mate. Probably. What about left-sided centre-backs? That is the $64,000 question, Turing Bus. It really is. Truth is, Levi Colwill looks off the table right now. I'm going to read you out comments from Mauricio Pochettino after their game last night against Brighton over in Philadelphia. By the way, Philly showed up. Philly showed up for that game and they were treated to a great game. 4-3. I watched it. Very enjoyable. This is what Mauricio Pochettino has been saying about Levi Colwill. He said, he's going to continue with us. I'm happy with him. His performance was good today. Better than what I expected because it's only the first game with us after the season with Brighton. I'm so happy he can be one of the great centre-backs in England. So it's not looking good on that front. But I also don't know what game Pochettino was watching because he gave away a penalty and very easily could have given away 2 penalties and positionally was caught out a few times. So I don't know what game Pochettino was watching. I think he's just trying to keep things positive with Colwill because he won't want to lose him. But yeah, on the left centre-back thing, I haven't got a clue. I am stumped. I am scratching my head trying to figure it out because loads of these ones we've been linked with are still there. Inacio, still there. United haven't gone from. We haven't got from. Still there. Per Schurz, still there. Napoli haven't had a bid accepted that I'm aware of. And Liverpool haven't put in a bid. So, truth is, I'm stumped on the left back or left centre back situation. What's this, Mark? Oh, yes. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. JC Galvanil. I owe you an apology, sir. You gifted 10 memberships, the other day before the stream, and I didn't notice it. Mark did bring it to my attention, but I missed the message until the stream was over. So if you're watching right now, sir, from all of us in the community, thank you, buddy. That's very, very kind of you, gifting 10 people memberships like that. Much love, mate. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Mark, for bringing that back up. Mbappe loves Real. Oh, yeah, no doubt, mate. I'm with you, 100%. I think Mbappe ends up at Real Madrid. No doubts in my mind. Unless somebody in Saudi comes with a shit ton of money. And I don't know. I really don't. Like, there was a piece on Sky that said Mbappe's willing to sit on the bench for a year in order to join Real Madrid for free. You know, that would be an incredible waste of a season for an incredible player. So let's wait and see how it pans out. But of course, I don't think Liverpool are signing Kylian Mbappe, lads. I'm not deluded. I know like people still bring up the Bellingham stuff to me, and I get it. I'm here to be held to account like anybody else. But there was a lot of truth to everything I said about Bellingham. But sometimes the player just wants a certain club, has his head turned. And in this case, we stepped away. And once we stepped away, we left the door open. And he's a Real Madrid player. Now, Dwight York, I think it was speaking today and said, if it doesn't work out, we expect Liverpool to come back in. I don't expect Liverpool to come back in for Bellingham at any point. I think that was the opportunity, and I think his valuation's only going to go one way, and that's up. Caicedo. we're not going to sign Caicedo. I know Liverpool fans, myself included, would be more than happy to sign Caicedo, but he's got to go to Chelsea. That deal will be done. They'll get to a number and he'll move. Barella, James asked about Barella. The last I seen about Barella was that Manchester City could be interested, which worries me. I can't lie to you. Manchester City really, really worry me if they were to be able to go and get Barella. Apparently, Gvardiol isn't going as Leipzig have said they don't need the money to sold on to us. Thank you for the super chat, David Leslie. I know, I can't lie, dude. I had a big dirty smirk on my face when I read that. Now, look, I think it's a ploy. I think it's a tactic to say, pay what we want or you ain't getting them. And I think their valuation is about 80-something million pound. So, yeah. The fact that we may have made it more difficult for Manchester City absolutely makes me happy. Right, Oxlade-Chamberlain. So apparently, a couple of things about Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's got an offer on the table, according to the Mirror, to go to the Saudi League. Not sure if he's interested or not. But they also go on to say that he has interest from Brentford and Besiktas. So I'm sure we will see Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain go somewhere at some point. He's obviously not a Liverpool player anymore. His contract was up on the 1st of July. So, yeah. I wish we'd kept Fabinho. It's a mess, said Mari Nicholson. It looks it now, Mari. I'm with you. I understand where you're coming from, my friend. But I think something's happening, Mari. I think as soon as the Fabinho and Henderson stuff gets really signed off and done, and the Henderson thing is, it's there pretty much. Like, what I can tell you about the Jordan Henderson situation is that he will be in Croatia tomorrow with the El Ettifaq team that are doing a pre-season camp or something there ahead of the new Saudi Pro League starting. So, yeah, that's what it looks like. Jordan Henderson will be joining his new teammates tomorrow over in Croatia. So I think that deal is done. Dan, if you got in on time, mate, or even watched a minute of the fucking stream before trying to become an absolute smart arse, I'm not the one who's saying we're signing Mbappe, dude. You want to have a laugh? Go to the journalists that write the articles. All I do with these shows is bring all the newspaper stories, we discuss them, we think if there's any truth to them or not, and we go away. But, you know, I'd like to think that you've got more respect for me than to think I'm coming on here to tell you that we're signing Mbappe, mate, you know? So, if you're new to the channel, maybe you'll get the gist of what the streams are about moving forward, the news streams. That's what we do. I get all the newspaper stories, put them together. Myself and the lads behind the scenes have a discussion about what topics we want to put in. And tonight, the idea was we've got one realistic one and one Bullshit Island one. You know? And we do love a bit of Bullshit Island, let's be honest. We love a bit of Bullshit Island. Klopp says players are coming. Yes, and that makes me very excited. 40-year-old Virgil. Yeah, it does. It makes me really excited that Klopp says players are coming. And he said it in the plural, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I'm open to being corrected on that, but my memory is certainly that he said it in the plural. So right now, we have 2,200 people, amazingly, in our live chat. Couple of things. One, love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. You really are raising my spirits. Two, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please take a second to do so. Don't forget, memberships are open to the channel as well. We've 2 levels, Anfield Agenda FC and Anfield Agenda Ultras. The Ultras will really help us shape the future of the channel because we're going to be using viewer polls and stuff like that to gauge the type of content you like, to gauge the type of stories you're interested in, and that's our plan moving forward. Mr. Connor Crosby has touched back down on the Emerald Isle. He is back from Japan after his well-earned holiday. So he is now on his way back from Cork to his home in Wexford. So just to let you guys know, he got home safely. All good on that front. And Connor will be back working with us from Tuesday onwards. And he very much deserved that trip, by the way. Very, very much. He works really hard, as does the new guy behind the scenes. I wish I could tell you more about the new guy behind the scenes, but he asks for anonymity, and I am here to do as he says. But I want to say this to you. I'm very happy, very proud of the team we have. I couldn't ask for a better group of people to work alongside, and we want to do you guys proud. Fabinho, what's going without his dog? I know, it's a tough one, right? Because many of you guys, I'm sure, are pet owners, dogs, cats, whatever's your own pet of choice. And it can be really difficult. Like, I have a French bulldog, and when he was a puppy, he's still a puppy. He's actually have a funny story on that. I have a French bulldog, and he got sick once shortly after we got him, and I was up the walls with worry. And I'd barely made a connection to him at that point, so I can only imagine the problems that Fabinho and his missus might be feeling about potentially having to move without their Frenchies. I get it. But actually, funny story, the live show in Dublin, if you're coming, you got to do one thing. You got to do one thing for me. Look, there's the yoke. If you want to come, description of the stream, sugarclub.com. But Harvey's going to turn 1 the day of the live show. Harvey being my French bulldog. So we're going to have to sing happy birthday to him at the live show because he turns 1 on that day. Right, super chat from Dan Watson. I'm late to the channel, not a Liverpool fan, but I listen to all channels, but get yourself a pint on me. You're very kind, Dan, and you're very welcome in as well, my friend. Thank you so much for your kindness, and I hope you enjoy what we have to say, even if you're not a Liverpool fan, my man, but great to have you with us. Olise, 35 million release clause. Thank you for bringing that one up as well. There is a lot to get through tonight, and thank you for reminding me of that one. So yeah, there was an article written today that spoke about some clubs that are interested in signing Olise from Crystal Palace. And one piece of information that our good friend here in the chat, Kelsier, has reminded me of is that there's a £35 million release clause apparently in Olise's contract, which I did not know about. So what are you saying on that one? Would you be interested in 35 million? You know, it's not probably a position that we're really needing to push for at the minute. Mark, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub. Not a tier 1 sub, wrong channel. Thank you for gifting a membership, mate. Appreciate you. I don't rate Olise, says Shifty Productions. You know what? I'm not going to say I've watched a whole lot of Olise. I've seen bits and pieces of him and Eze at Palace, but I don't know enough about him to say if he'd fit in for us or not. But 35 million seems a reasonable price tag for a Premier League player to another Premier League club. What time will you be live tomorrow for the watch-along? So the watch-along tomorrow starts at midday UK and Irish time. We're going to be live from about 11:30. There's a new emoji for Bullshit Island that our new team member has put into the chat. We do love a bit of Bullshit Island. I mean, I want Bullshit Island merch, to be honest with you. Thuram updates. Sten wants to know. I don't have one, Sten. I wish I did. And I think we raised this the other day. Does anybody else feel like we maybe did him a little bit dirty? Because there's been loads of talk of Thuram at the start of the window, but it's gone really quiet now. PALHINHA would be a class signing. 100% agree. Right. If you'd like Liverpool to sign PALHINHA for 50 million, get some hearts going in the chat. Post some WFNs or hearts, whichever you please, and let's see how many people would like to sign PALHINHA at Liverpool Football Club for £50 million. Mbappe won't come to LFC. I know. We're very much aware, mate. The whole point of it was that we brought up the story to laugh at it. He's going to Real Madrid. Nobody thinks he's coming to Liverpool. Yes, mate. We heard you the first time. I know, you're probably a little Real Madrid fanboy, I'm guessing, are you? But either way, I've already answered you. Nobody's saying he's coming to Liverpool, dude. Read the room. Oh, we've got one L. Fernando's giving us an L. Lots of people liking it, though. Mikel Merino, good player, by the way, BH, good player. Who will play for Chelsea? Mudryk starting and Kunku Olise. I don't know, bonkers. I don't know, mate. So most people, I think, would like PALHINHA, but there's one thing that has me a tiny bit worried, right? And that's the links to the price that apparently Liverpool are looking to go with for I'm confusing myself now. Lavia, because the articles that I've read suggest 25 million is going to be the offer from Liverpool to Southampton. I don't know. I don't think 25 million gets the job done. I think 50 is too dear. I think 50 is very optimistic. But interestingly, as much as we know that Manchester City's £40 million buyback clause doesn't come into effect till next summer, apparently they're also re-looking at the kid to bring him in. Now, I don't know why. They've brought in, well, they've still got the guy from Leeds. They've brought in Kovacic. They've got Rodri. So I'm not sure what the thought process is with Lavia for Manchester City if they are back in. But I don't think 25 million gets it done. But I'd be pleasantly surprised if it did, but I don't think it would. Sounds a lot like an FSG bid. Yeah, that's often my thought process, Kingsman. So they can go, we tried, but trying isn't good enough in this window. We need to make sure we get stuff done. We should get McTominay. No, we shouldn't. No. I get it. There's a lot of people who are in the camp of have a look at McTominay, have a look at Ward-Prowse. I'm not in that camp at all. I do think McTominay's better than a lot of people gave him credit for, but I still don't want him anywhere near Liverpool. Could be 25 with add-ons. Could be. Right, let me read it out to you so you guys know. This is coming from Fakahes, who we like to say have a residency on Bullshit Island. They say that Liverpool are willing to make an offer of up to £25 million to Southampton for Romeo Lavia. They go on to talk about the recent contact between the clubs and Lavia's representatives have gone well. Liverpool have expressed their intentions. However, it has been said that Manchester City are also interested in the midfielder after selling him to the Saints. As a result, Liverpool want to hurry up and complete the deal. That's according to the Spanish outlet. So, look, if we could get that deal done at 25, even 30 million, great piece of business and value there, yeah. But it would lead to the obvious question. Do we have enough experience in midfield? And the answer is probably no, we wouldn't. But this has been a very tough one for me to weigh up in my head, because I do like the idea of having somebody like Lavia who can progress quickly, probably. But we also don't really have scope for another up and down season. We've got to get it right. And I feel like we're leaving ourselves a little bit open to being a bit inexperienced. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But I do trust Kloppo to get this decision right. Can you give a shout out to my wife, Ella Brown? She has to sit through the late night agenda every night. Ella. What a woman. What a woman, letting your fella sit through the late night agenda. I do apologise. Is it Ella or L? Excuse me, maybe it's L. My apologies. Yeah, I'm sorry for dragging him out for an hour every night, but I appreciate you letting him watch. Is Lavia good or overhyped? It's a very fair question. It's a difficult one. It's very difficult. Difficult one to answer, Tyler, because we've only got a small sample size, right, of him in a relegation fodder team. But he did stand out, according to people who've watched a lot more of him than me. I'm relatively new to the Lavia stuff. Szoboszlai playing tomorrow? No, I don't think he will. From what I've read, he's not going to take any further part in the German part of pre-season. Oh, Newland's in the emoji list as well now. If that doesn't make you want to become a member, I don't know what will. A little Newland emoji. We do love a bit of Newland. A bit of a Douglas Luiz fan myself. Yeah, so we were linked to Douglas Luiz when he was sort of available in January. The latest I'd seen was Arsenal to be back linked with him again. But look, here's a question that I don't know if we got an answer to the other day. Did Douglas Luiz not sign the new Villa contract? Now, I'm not saying that means he's not possible to get. Just curious on my part. Are you doing a YouTube live tomorrow? Yes, so we'll be live for the watch along at 12, or no, we'll start at 11:30 a.m. Then we'll do the game, and then I'll be back on tomorrow night at 8:30 for another late night agenda as well. He stood out when he passed the ball to Diogo. Well, fair play, David. Fair play. PC Drat said Newland's well worth the membership. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. El Newland's. He's a special man. Is he a man though? He could be a eunuch. I don't know. He's a special species. Let's go with that one. How did I get this membership, Benny? Somebody must have gifted it to you, mate. There's been some very kind people that have gifted memberships. JC Galvanil gifted 10 yesterday. Mark gifted one earlier on today as well. Early one for you tomorrow. I'm going to be honest, Ryan. I've been bitching and moaning about that all day in the house here. I have. I've been bitching and moaning about it. I think is tomorrow's one behind closed doors, by the way. Like, it's on LFC TV Go, but is the game behind closed doors? Should I sub on Twitch or become a member? Well, we won't be on Twitch, so I wouldn't go doing anything on our Twitch account, mate. There's no Twitch content coming up anytime soon. Mark said Douglas Luiz signed a 4-year contract with Aston Villa from January. Yeah, I thought he had. Now, of course, that doesn't mean he's not available, but it certainly makes it more difficult. And Guisa from Napoli would be a good addition. I'm not sure if it was yourself, Nixie Boom, or somebody else that brought him up the other day. I've not seen anything this summer myself, but certainly remember some broad links to Anguissa previously. But myself, I've not seen that this summer. It is behind closed doors. There you go. So, yeah, I'd say it'll be a fairly low-key one tomorrow. I really want Kimmich. So the reason I haven't brought up Kimmich so far tonight is I've got nothing I can add to the situation on Kimmich. I've no idea if we're really interested or not. I mean, look, it makes a lot of sense that we would be, because he's exactly the versatile, experienced leader that you'd want in your midfield. But as much as we've seen the articles to say that he's available to be sold, I've not seen a number yet personally. I've seen people guessing, but I truly don't know what Bayern Munich may value Joshua Kimmich at. I would take him in a heartbeat, though. And his salary is a very good point as well there from Drumtum. Yeah, he's on like €300,000, I think, a week at Bayern. Lavia pulled a hammy last year, missed 2 months. Is that a worry? It's hard. Look, I can't give you an absolute diagnosis on that Punjabi Firmino, but at a guess, I would say, last year, so he was 18, he could still be growing. He could still be filling out. His muscles could still be getting used to the rigors of Premier League. So I wouldn't know, is the honest answer, mate. What are your thoughts of Edson Alvarez? He's good, but I don't know if he's good enough for us, because I don't have a big enough sample size of what I've watched him playing. What about Goretzka? Again, the wage is massive issue there. I have my thoughts on a Melissa Reddy article, Kikiriki. I remember a Melissa Reddy article where she spoke about Leon Goretzka before he joined Bayern Munich, and if my memory is right, he was looking for really big money to move to the Premier League. I want to say Melissa said it was like 270 grand a week, something like that. But that was back then, and I don't know if his stance had changed. Craig, I love the channel. Just wondering, is there a reason why the streams are deleted after they're over as you're back on YouTube? Can usually watch them this time. Love watching back. So, yes, there is a reason. The reason is we do the live stream, and then immediately we put it onto unlisted, which means it isn't private. If you have a link, you can still watch it. But the reason we do that is we put out a video, an 8-minute video, as soon as we're finished, summarizing everything that we've just spoken about to make it easier for people to consume, pretty much, shorter form content. Because sometimes our streams can go an hour, hour 15, hour and a half, and a lot of people just don't have the time to skim through a 90-minute stream. So 2 ways I look at it. One, it's to reward everyone who's here with us in the lives, and what happens in the live stays in the lives. And also, as I said, just because we've built up that shorter video form content market during the year we were away. So that's the God's honest truth behind it. Morning from New Zealand. Mully, how are you? Hoping for some positive news on more signings this week. I think you'll get it, buddy. I think you will. It looks like tomorrow's going to be a big day with regards to outgoings. Expect the Henderson deal to be sorted tomorrow. I don't think the Fabinho deal will be too far behind. Um, and then I expect us to move quickly. But I think that my guess is that that's what's holding us up at the minute. That those two deals for the boys to Saudi, we just want that to be inked and sorted so we don't commit money and then end up having a player who we haven't moved on, I guess. Uh, Thoughts about Florentino Luis from Benfica? I'd love him, but Benfica would have to be open to taking less than the £103 million buyout clause that's in his contract. And if they were open to take less, I mean, brilliant. But it would have to be a good chunk less, I'd imagine. I'd like Amrabat just to piss the Manx off. The weird thing about Amrabat is he's not even that expensive. Like, you're talking, from what I've been reading, 25 million for Amrabat. So, again, I don't know. I don't know what's... Yeah, I don't know what the situation is with Amrabat. I would suggest that he's probably further down the list. Zubabendi, Coop Miners, Kessie. So the thing about Kessie is, and I keep bringing this up, Kieran, why would we now go and buy a player we could have had for free? I don't understand it with Kessie. If Liverpool were really interested, we should have made a play when he was leaving AC Milan to go to Barcelona. But we didn't, and I can only imagine it's because we had no interest. Coop Miners is definitely a name that's been mentioned and spoken about quite a bit. I just don't know how serious the interest is. And I've heard nothing on Zubimendi. Nothing. Any update on Decore? Yes. Slight update. Neil Jones has said he's a name that you can keep an eye on. After that, I don't know. I've seen valuations of anything from 50 to 70 million for Decore. So, club like him. The club have been impressed at what he's done at Crystal Palace. But it's a guessing game. And I'm happy it's a guessing game because I don't like our targets being out in the public. I hope we get these deals done and we get signings over the line quickly. And nothing would make me happier than coming on here tomorrow, Wednesday or whatever, and speaking about a surprise sign that none of us thought about. I love them. If you could have anyone for a CDM, who would it be? Said Danny Bingham. You know what? I'd take PALHINHA right now because of the experience. And I know he's 28, but he doesn't look like he's got many miles on the clock. He looks like he's got an engine and can go forever. So I'd happily bring in PALHINHA because that's a player for the here and now. And if you wanted to look at somebody else down the line, in another younger DM, so be it. But we have to see how Stefan progresses. And PALHINHA removes the risk of having two very young defensive midfielders. So I'd love PALHINHA and then bring in Thuram. That would be great because that way you'd get PALHINHA in to cover the DM and you get Thuram in for your, young midfielder with plenty of potential. So I'd be happy with that. Or go the other way and go Lavia, but then I'd want somebody a bit more experienced in there. Somebody in the 22 to 25 bracket. What about Nico Barella? Only links I've really seen, Hasino has been to Manchester City over the past few days. But God, I'd love it. Mate, if I came on here tomorrow and we'd agreed a deal for Barella, the nips are coming out. That's the level I'm at there. How many more players would you want to sign and what players would they be? Said Paul Walsh. Paul, we need two midfielders in my opinion and at least a centre-back, a left-sided centre-back. Really, I know a lot of people have spoken about right-backs. I just don't see it, personally. Because we're running out of time here. You look at it two ways. We've got the start of the season and the end of the window. So there's a 3-week differential between both. So you need to get somebody in ready to go soon enough. So I want two midfielders and a left-sided centre-back. But I get the feeling we're not going to get a centre-back. Because I don't know if there's a centre-back that Jurgen's comfortable with that's available. Now, I'm only basing this off what I'm reading because I truly do not know what way the club are thinking on it. Because if I usually get information on something, it's not from Liverpool side. I usually get it from the other side. And even at that, not a lot, to be fair. I'm not somebody that's claiming to be the most well-connected person. I'm not. But if I do get a few bits, I always bring them and pass them along. Right, let me just go through my notes. Right, so Federico Valverde. El Nacional, who I'm assuming are another Spanish outlet, say that Liverpool could revive or reignite their interest in Real Madrid midfielder Fede Valverde. And they go on to speak about the fact that Real Madrid are, of course, in the hunt for Kylian Mbappe. And, you know, the money that would cost to get that deal in, you would imagine they'd have to recoup some money. And Madrid have been quite good in the market in recent years, but they say that Liverpool are obsessed with the Uruguayan and could sign Valverde for 80 million euro. If we hadn't have signed Szoboszlai, potentially, but I'd be extremely pleasantly surprised if we signed Valverde. I mean, I'd be over the moon. I love him, but yeah, I just don't see us putting in an 80 million bid. My comments aren't being seen on my main account. I don't know what you want me to do about that, mate. If they're probably banned. If you said something I don't know. I don't know who you are, so I can't really help you out with your other account if I don't know the account name. So I'll need the account name if that's all right. What happened to Thuram? Nothing. We just haven't progressed past those initial contacts yet, which is really odd because, Sver, if you asked me a month ago, I would have said that he's right at the tippity top of the list because, you know, you'd seen the Canade stuff with him, you'd seen all the liking of posts from him, and who's the other one that we looked, Kone, early in the window. Truth is, I don't know, mate. I don't know if we've tickled his nuts a little bit and dude's suffering with blue balls now waiting for Liverpool to come back, or I don't know. Should Jota start over Diaz? It's a good question for the opening game, Andy. Jota is far more disciplined in system in my mind than Diaz. Jota is certainly more likely to pinch us a goal than Diaz, but Diaz has got that little bit of unpredictability about him more than Jota, and a better engine than Diogo Jota as well. So it's a very difficult decision for the gaffer to make, but I tell you what, isn't it great that we have that headache? That we look at the front line and talk about Jota, Diaz, Darwin, Salah, Gakpo. I love it. Nunes. Sorry, I think I forgot Darwin's name there. What about Sangar from PSV? I've never seen an article linking us to Sangar. At least not off the top of my head. So I know there's a lot of Liverpool fans that like him and we all love to throw names around. But I've not seen anything to suggest that the likelihood of us putting an offer is serious. I've not seen that. Any news on Bellingham? Yeah, he's a Real Madrid player. That's the news. And you've got one broken-hearted Irishman answering you. What about Jamal? I don't know who he is, Lewis. I mean, sometimes I feel like people just pull out random names because they've gotten to know somebody or had a good game and throw them into the chat and think I know everything about them. I have no idea who he is, man. Any news on the Szoboszlai injury? So it looks like he just turned his ankle, John. Now, of course, you have to wait for the swelling to go down and you see if there's any serious damage, but I think it seems quite positive that it's just a rolled ankle. But, you know, I don't want to say definitively until the club. Would you box Goldbridge? No, because I'm too heavy to box Goldbridge. It wouldn't be a fair fight. I'm like many pounds heavier than him. Liverpool's giving the matter too much thought. This is no longer typical Liverpool's move. We're not giving it too much thought, David. We just have to wait till we bring in the money. You know, the last thing Liverpool want to do now is go out there and drop a significant amount of money on a holding midfield player only for the Fabinho deal to fall through and Liverpool being stuck with 9 million quid a year in wages and the loss of the transfer fee. So I think the club are just trying to make sure that we get those deals over the line, and as soon as the boys are gone, I expect us to move forward. But I understand it at the minute. And quite frankly, I'm at the point where if I was Liverpool, I'd be telling the Saudi clubs to hurry up or piss off, quite simply. You know, you put the bids in, pay up, or, do one. Simple as that. How realistic is Kimmich? Hard to say when I have no idea what Bayern Munich would ask Addy, but his wages would be problematic, I would assume. I think €300,000 a week, which is about 250 grand a week. So that in itself would make it a difficult transfer, and that's before you look at the potential fee. Craig, I'm a boxing coach. I'd happily train you to be ready. Mate, the fact that you think I'd need any training to go in and slap him around the place is funny. I think you probably meant me to lose the weight though. And in the future I could help you with that. But mate, I'd happily go in there with one hand. Pick which one. You can pick left or right, wouldn't matter. And it would still be over in a round. So it wouldn't matter. Pay up for be gone. Yeah, that's it. Pay up, like no more ball tickling, no more joking around. Pay the money or do one. How much will PALHINHA cost? So the latest guesstimations are £50 million, Abu. Now we know, or at least it's been reported, that West Ham had a £45 million offer turned down for PALHINHA, but 50 seems to be the number. Now, actually, on a few other transfers, I don't know if you guys seen these today, but there has been some business conducted outside of Liverpool today. Newcastle completed the signing of Harvey Barnes from Leicester City for a fee believed to be around £39 million. Well, I think that's a tidy bit of business from Newcastle. I've always liked Harvey Barnes. Liverpool did look at him a year or so back, but I do think that's solid from Newcastle. So, yeah, 39 million. Seems like a good bit of business for me. Now, the strange one of the day is Raul Jimenez is going to Fulham for £5.5 million. I can only he's an ex-cop. He might be quite fit. Yeah, he's still a bitch though. So he'd be ex-cop all he wants. He's still a bitch. So it doesn't make any difference. Do you know what I mean? Ex-cop, no cop, fucking Bruce Lee, I'm hard as nails, fucking whatever. He's still a bitch. So um yeah, so Wolves 5.5 million. It's weird, right? It's weird. Like 5.5 million. I like you can only assume they're doing that for the replacement for Mitrovic. And can I say Mitrovic is he's a petulant little shit, Mitrovic. Like down in tools because he can't get his blood money. Do you know what I mean? Like fair play to Marco Silva, by the way, because he turned down a 40 million quid offer to go over to Saudi to stay with Fulham. But Mitrovic is basically refusing to play. He's not even training right. He's. What's your honest opinion on Goldbridge? Uh, I can't say. I can't say. But I respect his work ethic. If you're looking for a positive, I respect his work ethic. I don't begrudge him any of his success whatsoever. He's worked very hard for it. I just don't think he's a very nice human being. That's the nicest I can possibly be about it. But let's move on. Yeah, so Mitrovic. Yeah, I don't like it. But again, I'm a hypocrite, right? Because I remember other players who've come to Liverpool down in tools a bit. So, I am a bit of a hypocrite on it. But it's just, I guess, how blatant he's been about it. Looks like Mitrovic is getting his move, hence why they went for the Wolves striker. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Mark. But it's not a very good backup, in my opinion. I don't think Raul Jimenez will do the numbers that Mitrovic was doing at Fulham. Like, Mitrovic was really good for Fulham. Really good. And I like Raul Jimenez. I like his attitude, his work rate, his effort. But I don't think he's going to be anywhere near, what's the word I'm looking for here? Prolific enough. And does anybody else think Wolves are in trouble this season? Thoughts, Michael Obafemi. That I hope he scores many, 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 many goals for Ireland during his time playing for us, John. That's my hope for Obafemi. Would you sign Emre Can if he didn't sign a contract? No, no, I wouldn't. I don't think Emre Can. I was going to say I don't think his career has progressed really, but I've no bad feeling towards Emre Can. I've said this on the channel before. It's he did exactly what he was contracted to do at Liverpool. Emre Can. He came, he played, he was professional. He seen out his contract, and he ran it down and moved on. I've never got a problem with that. Players are absolutely entitled to see out the contracts and move on. You know, they sign a contract, he honoured the contract. For me, he did nothing wrong. What about Tyler Adams from Leeds? Said Big Fella. It's a really nice question, mate. And there's a real difference of opinion between me, my Discord, and some other people about Tyler Adams. I don't know if I'm a snob because he's an American, but I just don't see it. I don't see the quality to come to Liverpool in Tyler Adams. I see a good midfield player, a very Premier League ready level midfield player, but I don't know if he's ready for Liverpool or, you know, a top four club. What about De Jong? Oh, I love De Jong, Mari. But again, we're talking unrealistic for the wages and probably the transfer fee. Yeah, bonkers. I'd seen that Zaha's closing in on Galatasaray. Honestly, thought he'd end up staying at Palace. Because if you look at the money that apparently he's going to get at Galatasaray, I think it's less than the money Crystal Palace were going to offer him to stay. Like, swear I read it was going to be about 160 grand a week that he'd get at Galatasaray. And I think he was being offered more at Palace. Any chance for Barella? I mean, I'd love it, but I wouldn't be optimistic. But God, how good would it be if we were all wrong at the end? We ended up signing him. The latest I've seen on him, as I mentioned earlier, is him being linked with a move to Manchester City. What of Gabri? He's not leaving Barcelona. And do you know what? He's not leaving Barcelona, and I don't think he should. I genuinely think... Oh, no, talking about Gavi. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm like Gabri. Sorry, I'm confusing myself now. Are we talking about Gabri Viega? That's who we're talking about now, is it? No, that ship has sailed. Paul Smith said, I'm with you. Tyler Adams isn't good enough for Liverpool. Like, I think he's a Premier League player, but I just don't see it for Liverpool, personally. Who was worse for Liverpool, Juff or Balotelli? 100% Juff. 100%. There was, like, nothing good about El Hadj Juff. Zero. Balotelli, I mean, there wasn't much there either, to be fair, but yeah, Juff was just horrible. Like, really went in on Gerrard, Carragher from day one, just, nah, never able to take to him. And then the whole spitting incident and stuff like that, just nah. Did you watch the hurling final? No, I'm not into hurling, mate. Not my cup of tea. Would you rather Valverde or Thuram? 100% Valverde. 100% Zakir. What about Danny Olmo? Again, I think we're just plucking names out of a hat now and suggesting them. How much would De Jong cost? I mean, probably a question for United fans because they were the ones pushing really hard last year to sign him. I would imagine upwards of 60. But again, it's a guess. Moussa Diaby for Villa, great bargains. Yeah, Villa are doing good business. No doubt about that. Yuri Tielemans, Diaby, Pau Torres, good business from Aston Villa. And I think, don't underestimate what Unai Emery will do this season with Villa. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them push into the top six. Are you afraid of Mbappe and Neymar maybe leaving PSG and they come back in for Salah? I'm always going to be afraid of that, Colin. Always. Until PSG sort that out, yes, I will always have that fear that they will come back in for Mohamed Salah because we know It's not even a secret that the president of PSG is a huge fan and a friend of Mohamed Salah. So yeah, that worries me. It'll always worry me. Did I like to watch Burger King? Watch it. I'd rather eat it. I mean, sitting there watching Burger King doesn't really do anything for me, mate. But wolfing down the next XL bacon double cheeseburger, now that's a bit of my language. Voronin was worse. Yeah, but at least he looked like Chuck Norris. Do you know what I mean? You can say what you want about Andre Voronin, but at least he looked like Chuck Norris. They were dark days, man. But they were dark days back then. Right, so Fabrizio Romano has given an update earlier on today about the Fabinho situation. He said, Al Ittihad presidents are in London to seal Fabinho's deal with Liverpool. Talks are at the final stages, but still some details to sort between the clubs. Documents are not ready yet, and Liverpool want to hurry it up. Saudi club hope the deal to be done next week to avoid any last minute hijack. So they're seemingly a little bit worried about Bayern's interest in Fabinho. So from my perspective, I just want Liverpool to get these deals done so we can move forward. Raul Morelos. I actually quite liked Raul Morelos, Luz. I actually did. I actually liked him at Liverpool. Am I the only one? I thought he was decent for us. Would you sign Zambo and Guisa? Unreal against us. Thank you, Thomas Sanchez, for the super chat. He's a name that's been mentioned, and he's a player that Klopp is an admirer of, but I don't know past that. Would I sign him? Truthfully, I don't know. I haven't watched enough of him to form an opinion. I'm really simple though, Thomas. I just want who Klopp wants. How much would Kimmich cost? Complete guess, 60-65 million. But it is a guess. Yeah, or YC, because I've not seen the definitive number. Right. We're going to carry on for another 15 minutes or so. So any questions you have, please do whack them into the chat. Also, hit that subscribe button. We're really close to 182,000. So every single one of you that hits the button means the world. And if you want to become members, don't forget we do have 2 levels of membership. We've got Anfield Agenda FC, where you get custom emojis, you get shout-outs for becoming a member, and a few other bits and pieces. And on the other one, Anfield Agenda Ultras, you get all of that stuff. You get member-only polls, you get custom wallpapers, and a few other bits and pieces as well. What's my McDonald's order? I'm not really a big McDonald's, Burger King type of person. I guess double cheeseburger, 6 nuggets, strawberry milkshake, and an apple pie. Probably sounds about right. With a sweet curry dip. How are you, man? I'm good, thank you. I think I'm coming down with a bit of a cold or something, because my throat's a bit sore, my nose is a bit sore, but it's not unusual for me when the weather's a bit up and down for me to get little colds and stuff. But other than that, I'm good. I hope you're well. Craig, if you had to sell VVD or Salah, who would it be and why? I mean, why am I getting the question? There's no answer that I can give there, Chris, that is going to come back well on me. If I say either, the headline of that answer is going to be Craig said he'd sell X or Y. So I'm going to sit on the fence and get splinters on my backside. Only 6, it needs to be 20. Oh, I mean, I was trying to be nice about it, maybe. Yeah, probably fucking right. Probably 20 bucks in all honesty, but I was just trying to make out like I wasn't a fat pig. But, you know, if we're being honest, then yeah, probably the 20. Do I like spice bags? No, because I'm a coward who doesn't like any type of spice or anything like that. Weird you say that. My daughter literally walked into the sitting room an hour ago, or an hour and a half ago, with one. So there you go. Did you see Harvey and Curtis and Bajcetic getting the most game time this season? Of those 3, Jones. Jones or Harvey? Tough one, because if I look at the midfield situation right now, I think Trent will be one of the 6s as he comes in from right back. Don't know who the other 6 is going to be yet. But ahead of them, I look at it like this. Left side of midfield, as in the 10 position, you've got McAllister and you've got Jones. Right side, you've got Szoboszlai, you've got Elliott. So yeah, I don't know who plays. I guess it depends. They both have attributes that lend themselves to Klopp's system, but in different ways. So Elliot, I think Elliot broke some type of pressing stat against Wolves last season, which is why he played against Man United. I'm sure Klopp said he put up the highest counter pressing stats or something of that season to date. YC Beats said, love the videos. Any updates on Pavard as a right back and Trent moved into midfield as the experience we need? So, firstly, thank you for the super chat. And I don't think Trent's ready to move into the six full time. I like the hybrid role because I do think we'd be found out defensively if Trent was in that role on his own without an actual ball winner beside him. So, the idea of having, let's say, PALHINHA alongside Trent really excites me because then you've got the guy who will do the hard work for Trent, get the ball, give it to Trent, and let Trent do his thing from the centre of the park. So, personally, I don't see a right back coming in this window. And I feel like we need to give time to Calvin Ramsey, who's gone on loan to Preston. And, of course, Connor Bradley, who had a very good 45 minutes in the preseason friendly the other day. And if you notice in that game, Connor Bradley didn't just play in the right back position. He was covering in to be the second six, so he was doing what Trent has been asked to do. And I thought he did it quite well. Certainly, I think he did it better than we seen Costas do from the left side in the second half. Supermax is the best. Oh God, I can't remember when the last time I had a Supermax is, Mari. I mean, we're talking minimum 15 years anyway. Do you know what happened to Calvin Ramsey? He's on loan, Muddy Stream. He went to Preston North End on loan for the season. So I think it's a good move. I think he'll do well at Preston and he'll get some game time at a good level in the Championship. And, you know, Liverpool get to keep an eye on him. But welcome in, mate. Great to have you with us. But yeah, that's the latest on where Calvin Ramsey is. Salah for Mbappe and money. Okay, I'm going to make a really mad statement now that's probably going to get me laughed at, but I don't want Mbappe at Liverpool. I would have 2 years ago. Right now, I don't want that headache at our club. Football-wise, look, he's sensational. But he definitely has baggage that I don't like. And he definitely would cause problems in the squad that I don't want. So, as mad as it sounds, I don't want Kylian Mbappe at Liverpool. And even saying that myself, I want to slap myself. But it's my honest opinion because he's just more hassle than he's worth. Liverpool to do the treble or Ireland to win the World Cup? 100% Ireland to win the World Cup. Because Liverpool will win stuff. Liverpool fans will always have opportunities to celebrate and, you know, talk about league titles, Champions Leagues, whatever. Ireland ain't going to win a World Cup. So, giving my country a chance to celebrate a World Cup, I'm old enough to remember the state of the country when we were in Italia 90. And by state of it, I mean everyone was locked. We were all partying. I was a kid, so I wasn't drinking, obviously, but the country was amazing. Like, it was just a level of good feeling I don't ever remember having since. So, yeah, I definitely take Ireland to win the World Cup. Mbappe wins us the league, let's be real. Does he? Honestly, look, I'm not going to tell you Mbappe's not a great player. He's absolutely amazing. He's phenomenal. But can you look at this time at PSG and say it hasn't been an absolute clusterfuck for the owners of PSG with his attitude? And every summer a new drama. Every window a new will he or won't he. So just let the dude go to Real Madrid, play where he wants to play, and, you know, we'll all enjoy watching him play. Because when he gets down to the playing of football, he's phenomenal. But there's no fucking way I'd want to listen to that drama every week. Soboslai wins us the league, let's be real. The only problem I have with Soboslai is people that say we signed a squad player from Leipzig. Like, nah, you've never watched them. Shut up. It's partly PSG's fault. Is it like... I mean, yeah, to an extent, but It's hard to have sympathy for somebody who's getting paid 650 grand a week and moaning about it. Nobody forced him to sign the new PSG deal. He could have went to Madrid. He made that decision. He signed the deal. And now it's nothing but a headache. So it's what I'm saying. I don't want Liverpool to have these problems. You'll buy me a Supermax, Mari? I'll bleeding hold you to that, my friend. Why can't you become a member through the YouTube app like other channels, if you don't mind me asking? Sincerely, I don't know the answer to that. And I don't know if you can or can't. That's my honest answer. We've certainly not done anything to stop you becoming a member through the app. I don't know if other people can maybe help you out who have become members through the app or not. I'd certainly very grateful of your support, but to my understanding, I don't think we've done nothing to stop you. What do you think about Lavia for Fabinho? I'm not against it, but I think it's a tad risky, unless you're bringing in somebody with more experience as well. But I wouldn't be annoyed by it, Anfield lad. I wouldn't be annoyed by it at all. Because I would look at it that if he comes in, Klopp views he's ready. And who the hell am I to second guess Klopp in that regard? Can you do a vlog for the event in Dublin? I'm not going to do one for that event, Chops, but let me explain why. So, as you can see on the screen there now, we are in Dublin in less than 2 weeks now. Tickets are still available. If you want to come and see us, do not miss out, because this is going to be fun. Trust me. But what I am going to do, mate, is we are very close to securing a booking for Cardiff in September. And if we do the Cardiff show in September, it's provisionally booked at the minute. We're just waiting for some details. I'm going to do I want to say a documentary, but that's glorifying it. I'll do a full build-up, behind-the-scenes vlog video of that event, because, quite frankly, where we're booking is amazing. If we can pull it off, wow, it's bucket list stuff. Like, well, it'd probably be the nicest place my ass has ever been. Yeah, it looks great. So that's the reason. I think Thuram and Lavia would complete our midfield. Sign me up, Moonlight. I'm with you. No problem with that for me. I'm happy with that one. Right, my friends, I'm going to leg it because I've got to record a video. I've got to get set up for the watch along tomorrow. So a couple of things. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. We will be live from 11:30 a.m. And it's not very often you're ever going to hear me say the words a.m. on this channel. But we will be live from 11:30 a.m. tomorrow for the watch along. We'll then be back tomorrow night for another Late Night Agenda news show at 8:30. And yeah, appreciate you all for giving up some of your Sunday evening to come and have a chat with me. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And yeah, lots of love to you all. And I hope to see most of you or some of you in Dublin. But until then,